Alrighty, how's everybody doing? I should have did I should have did this Facebook Live moments ago, but I couldn't help it. Apparently, I guess we're gonna have to live like this. I meant to do this live years ago, bro. Excuse me, not years ago. I meant to do this live hours ago, so I'm gonna have to keep it balanced. I have to it's 11 o'clock at night, so I wanna Alrighty. So I thought I'd get the thumbs pump wondering what if the theme is what if. This is not a religious sermon or nothing like that. I just thought I'd do this live, and just hear you guys' honest thoughts. Alrighty. So, what if universes were to cross over? What if universes were to cross over? So we're gonna get to a couple of crossovers I have. Mm-hmm. We're gonna do some crossovers that I have. Alrighty, so here are the universes we're gonna use for these crossovers. We're gonna use we're gonna use Marvel, Star Wars, because those are the two big universes right now. And DC Nation is getting back on track with the Batman, but the Justice League, I don't think it worked out for them. The Avengers had way more success. Anyways, we're gonna talk about more. We're also gonna talk about Bad Boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Yeah, we're gonna talk about Bad Boys. We're also gonna talk about Fast and Furious. We're gonna talk about the Fast and Furious. We're gonna talk about excuse me, let me refocus. Yeah, the Fast Furious. Yeah, but also Bad Boys. All right, so I'll eventually hopefully get more viewers if I don't get. Oh, I have one viewer now. Welcome aboard. All right, guys. So we're talking about the crossover wars. So for this crossover, we're gonna use Marvel, Star Wars. Like I said, we're gonna use Fast and the Furious. We're, we're gonna use Bad Boys, and also we're gonna use Ride Along. Alrighty, so So it is announced they have announced that these universes are going to cross over. So here's how the crossover going to work. We're going to do for this crossover. We're going to do the Clone Wars. And we're going to do the Infinity Wars. Okay. I feel like those chapters were more fun. Not to take away from the original trilogy of Star Wars, but I feel like those were more fun. Alright, so anywho, so it's been announced that all these universes are going to combine. I don't see why not. We're going to keep DC Nation out of this equation because they got to find a way to get it back where it be, because Lord knows it's only a matter of time before the Justice League comes back. Because they released the Black Adam movie, Man of Steel. Excuse me, not Man of Steel, but yeah, they brought Superman back. But yeah, we're not going to do that. Alrighty, so here's a big what if. So it's been announced they're going to do crossovers. So the first official MCU movie was not Captain America: The First Avenger. The first official MCU movie was not Iron Man. Excuse me, not no, it was Iron Man, not Spider Man. Because even though technically they did some MCU, yeah, the MCU did have some saves in that, but it was mostly Sony. It was mostly Sony because during the time Sony owned a lot of MCU characters, whether it be Spider Man, X Man, Fantastic Four. This goes on and on. They wasn't too careful, Marvel didn't step their A game up. They probably would have owned the rights to the Avengers eventually, but Marvel was not going to let that happen. Really thanks be to God for that because it's really a blessing. To be perfectly honest, Lord knows what would have happened. All right. So anywho, being announced they're going to crossover. So for this crossover, we're going to use where it all started, Iron Man, because that was the first official MCU movie before the Incredible Hulk came. But also X-Men Origins Wolverine. It technically was an official MCU movie, but the problem is Sony still owned the rights to it though. So yeah, let's stick to Iron Man. Alrighty, and plus the Bad Boys and Iron Man. They were both. Iron Man was an MCU movie, but Paramount Plus had the deals and rights to it as well. So it was almost if it wasn't too careful, it was going to be another Sony issue. About them owning the rights to Iron Man instead of the MCU, just like Sony got the rights to Spider. And Paramount Plus was almost going to get the rights to Iron Man. And one knows what would have happened, and that would have happened. All right, so all right, so I'm gonna leave that alone. But yeah, all righty. So here's a big what if. Let's do the Bad Boys MCU crossover with Iron Man, since they were both Paramount Plus owned too when they first began. What if it was decided that Martin Lawrence and Will Smith and the rest of the Bad Boys crew was going to do some business with the MCU, but to start it off with Iron Man, yup. What if it was decided that they were going to do business with Iron Man, but before they did business with Iron Man, what if Bad Boys 3 would have came out not during pandemic year? What if it would have came out the same year as the first Iron Man movie? Now they could always make their debut return in '07 or '06, whatever the case may be. But we're gonna use for purposes of this, we're gonna use '08. So it's been decided that Bad Boys is gonna do a crossover with Iron Man. So we already seen the first Iron Man where Bad Boys have made a return. So chances are they're probably going to be chasing down one of the fugitives. Because if you've seen the one from Pandemic Year, you know there's one of the fugitives out in the Middle East, moved from overseas to Miami. You know the drill. For those of you who've seen the not the new one, I don't want to spoil the new one, but the one that came out Pandemic Year. I'm gonna leave that alone. But yeah, you know, that was very much chasing out one of the fugitives. I feel like if Bad Boys 3 would have came out back in '08, I feel like it probably would have been a good movie. Good movie. I feel like it would have been a good movie then too. Yeah, just like everybody enjoyed Bad Boys. But now, what if it's not going to happen during the movie because they want to tell their own story. And that's going to be the reality with the Fast and Furious. Yes, and also Ride Along. They want to tell their own story first before we get this crossover in. Why, yeah, that's why I'm always not playing about it. Alright, so anywho, what if they would have waited once the movie is over? Right, so anywho, so what if, once the movie's done, what if they would have waited, because I have a feeling they'll do it, wait to the end credits to actually meet up, let's say before they meet up with Iron Man, meet up with Director Fury. Well, possibly becoming SHIELD agents, maybe. But they think they're going to become SHIELD agents, but the reality is they're going to help out Iron Man, but they're also going to play a role for the MCU, helping out since they want to take out one of the fugitives. How about you step your A game up and help us take out people like Thanos, Doom? The list goes on and on. Alrighty, so what if they were to do this crossover? Let's do the movie, not the first Iron Man movie. Let's do the second one, because the second one, you know, Terminator will make its debut, which we're not going to keep Terminator out. But what if what if not only Terminator, what if Bad Boys would have made a surprise appearance? I was thinking about using it for the White House, but we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it for the White House. What if they would have made a surprise appearance at Randy Donuts? Because if you watch Iron Man 2, they definitely gave some Bad Boy vibes, teasing that it was gonna return. Since we haven't seen Bad Boys in years, why don't we put it in another universe, which they did with Iron Man 2? Because there's a scene that they got the house at. That was the very house that was used in the Bad Boys movie. It was the very house that was used in the Bad Boys movie. It was the very house they used in the Bad Boys movie. But what? And thanks to all you who just joined. We're talking about the crossover wars. I'm not saying this can happen, but what if all these crossovers did happen? Just enjoy them. You know, sit back, relax, get some popcorn, whatever. We'll see. But anywho, if these crossovers were to happen, so whatever, there's a Randy Donuts scene in Iron Man 2 where Iron Man does business with Nick Fury. So not only Natasha shows up, where the Bad Boys shows up, because chances are they would have probably met Nick Fury first before they would have the opportunity of meeting Iron Man. And then maybe they probably would have met Captain America too, but we're gonna get to that. So yeah, Randy Donuts, he's negotiated a contract, because Iron Man at first he didn't have no interest in being in the Avengers, because I don't blame him. He has his own. He's rich, man. Make weapons. Now he got a new suit to just save whoever, to change the world like his dad did. Yeah, to change the world like his dad did. So anywho, once this crossover happens, because they were already met. Yeah, once. What if they would have talked about negotiating contract or something? Or what if instead, because it's still going to be an Iron Man movie, instead of Robert Downey Jr. becoming the Avenger, what if they would have trained him to become a bad boy first? But before he becomes a bad boy, they gotta put his skills to the test. It won't just anybody being part of our crew. You gotta put your skills to the test. Which technically in the movie they did, even though I know it was a stunt double that did, but it might have been him. But yeah, it was a stunt double. So what? So anywho, all right. Anywho, what was that 10%? Hold on a second, guys. Oh, yeah, I'm playing, man. All right. Sorry, guys. I had to get a charger for the tablet. The battery's about to go out. So, anywho. So, yeah, it's been announced that they're going to cross over. So, here's a big one. If you look at the Iron Man 2 movie, there's a scene where they go to that house. What if that's the first initiation? What if instead of helping him out, because I don't think they're going to help him out, he got to pass the initiation. There's a mission where he's trying to find some secret weapon or something, find out what they're up to. Something his rivalry, his power, it's been a while, but yeah. For that scene, he does solo, but they're gonna give mics and intercons, and they're gonna you get what I'm saying? You know, mics and intercon, it's an initiation. So we speak after the scene, he passed the initiation, but he still got more work. He still got more work to do because they want to get him not getting used to the suit, which eventually he'll get in his suit, but he wants to get used with the gun in the physical combat. Alright, so anywho, once that's done, he still got more work to do because we don't just trust you yet. But this is where the crossovers come in. What if for the final battle, because he's gonna reunite with Terminator, because they still gotta stop that kill. Attack them on the racetrack. What if the bad boys would have helped him on the racetrack? What if they would have shot? What if they would have shot him? But then eventually Iron Man would get his suit, and then he deal with the problem. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna get fun now because he got that suit on. Forget about being, this bad boy. They trying to train him to be. They say, yup, he got his suit. He don't need the guns no more. And they let him fight the battle. Lord knows what will happen. But then also, what if the bad boys would have took a trip because they technically, they're technically the police and all that. What if they would have went to White House to see Terminator, also to see the guy who's making the suits who took over Stark's company. Also, what if they also would have tried to kill Terminator for taking Tony Stark's suit? They don't play that mess. But I doubt that's gonna happen because this is Terminator we're talking about. He's good friends with Tony Stark. We've seen the memo. Right. Here's another big what if. Here's another big what if. All right, let me get my focus on. I'm ready. Also, in this scene, we already know it's a Stark Expo, but it's not Tony Stark. It's the new guy that's trying to be the new man to step up with the weapon. I don't blame him. Next thing you know, next thing, next thing, what if they probably would do that? What if they would have used the bad boys for the final scene because uh, they're about to turn on Tony Stark, but they're also about to almost kill people because he has control over the robots, but he also has control over Terminators. So this is where the bad boys come in. They're on their own with the big bots, but Iron Man and Terminator don't worry about that. But what if they were? What if the bad boys wanted fugitives? This is where the crossover comes in. What if the bad boy wanted fugitives come into place? What if the bad boys fugitives wanted to come into place? Have them worry about that, but also because Natasha got to fight people too. What if they would have helped out Natasha too? All right. Next thing you know, once they destroy the robots and destroy the main Really, what if first it started with the bad boys? Alright, so anyway, let me get back to the focus. But chances are, I have a feeling the bad boys might fail because they might have to deal with another one in the future. Because what if the MCU would have announced another villain for the bad boys to worry about? Also Nick Fury, you know. The chances are Nick Fury's hiding in the shadows. He don't really do much but talk, but he doing his own stuff. Yeah, but let me leave that alone. So anywho, now that that has happened, once Iron Man wins and they destroy the person, you know, he gets his tower back, he gets all his equipment back. What if it was announced that once the Iron Man 2 movie, you think we're done? You think we're done with the bad boys? Nah, we ain't done with the bad boys. We're not done with the bad boys yet. What if it was announced instead of doing another movie, which they'll probably do another movie? Oh man. Yeah, anywho, here's another big what if. Here's another big what if. What if they decided that they're gonna do a series, not an animated series or maybe an animated series, but I doubt that's gonna happen. Not an animated series. I would say animated series with Disney, but you know Disney, it's still in its prime. Don't get me wrong during this time, but yeah, there's gonna be a reality TV series or normal TV show that's gonna air on ABC or something like Agents of Shield. But also, here's another big what if. What if not only that crossover happens? What if the Bad Boys would have did a crossover with Captain America? And I feel like these would be the two that they would do it with, especially Captain America. They just getting Iron Man. Hey, you got the Shield. What if they would have made that? What if they would have made a return and not in just the Iron Man movies, but also whatever movie they have solo? Let's do. Um, let's do not the first Avengers movie because that's all the way back in 1950 during World War One or two. Yeah, all the way back then those times. No, let's do 2013 with the Captain America and the Winter Soldier. What are the bad What are the bad boys? What technically would have happened through the series? What if they would have met Captain America? Whether they would have met America, which technically, honestly speaking, they would. They would. And I'm not really trying to bore everybody. I'm not. I'm no longer a student at Utica University because otherwise I would. This video would have happened. Would have been more elaborate. All right. So yeah. Also, what are the bad boys would help Captain America out try to fight the Winter Soldier? But the reality is, eventually Captain America is going to do it solo. So the chances are the bad boys would have probably helped the Avengers out more or help Nick Fury out, Agents of Shield, and also what would this mean for the Agents of Shield series too? Ooh, if they would to crossover with the bad boys. We're gonna probably get to the Marvel and Star Wars crossover. Hopefully either today, not today, tomorrow. But it is late. I should have probably went live earlier, but trying to keep as quick as possible. Um, which technically might happen. Yeah, what if they would have helped him aid in that movie, trying to stop the Winter Soldier and bring him justice and bring him peace and stuff like that. All right, but let's get back to the series. It is announced that the Bad Boys is gonna do a series, but it's gonna be also a Marvel crossover series. Maybe it gets to the point where Agents of Shield might fail, but they're gonna use two MCU heroes. They're gonna use the main leaders, Iron Man and Captain America. All right, so here's the big what if. Here's the big what if. So if these crossovers would have happened, what if for the first two seasons they're gonna use the real actors to play the bad boys, but also the real actors to play both Iron Man and Captain America. So pretty much Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. They're gonna play their characters for the first two seasons. The chances are they're probably gonna have to debut some more Marvel villains for this series. Because Thanos is Guardians of the Galaxy, even though it's technically the Avengers problem too, especially because Thanos was responsible for the attack on New York City. So anywho, let me leave that alone. Yeah, what if it was for the first two seasons? Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. They're gonna play their roles, and not just that, Martin Lawrence and all of them. They're gonna play their roles as their characters. But for the next few seasons to come, especially with the crossover with the Shield, with Agents of Shield, because Agents of Shield has to be the main one, but also they're gonna eventually have to cross over with the movies too, especially when we get to the Age of Ultron age. Alright, so anywho. So anywho. Alright. So anywho, yup. But for the next few seasons, if they were up for return for a third season, the reality is they gotta make more movies. It can't be about the series. So what if for the next few seasons, instead of Robert doing Chris Evans, Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, and all the regular movie cat, what if it is announced? Here's a real big one. That they're gonna hire new actors for the series. They say they don't want to do more seasons until the time of points because they got other movies to do. And plus, it's MCU crossover, so they're gonna have to negotiate a lot of contracts. So, pretty much. What if it was this? What if it was decided that new actors are going to play the characters? What if for the series? What if they would have hired a new actor to play Captain America, but also Iron Man? Because Robert Downey Jr. Knowing him, he's the highest paid actor. They may want to save him for the movies, and Chris Evans too. Chris Evans could always stay, but chances are they're probably because I know he's doing other movies, but he's mostly known for the MCU. What if they would have hired new actors? But also, if Martin Lawrence and Will Smith want to stay for another season, they can do that. But they got other movies to do. So yeah, negotiate new contractor, new actors to portray their character. That's what we around for this series. Also, Agents of Shield. Alrighty. So yeah, they'll use those actors for the series. But also, what if the movies go well? What if it's decided that they want to return to redo the series for the new season? Yeah, chances are they're probably gonna want to probably hire new actors for this series. Because I agree with you, they gotta do other movies. All right, we'll leave that crossover alone. But here's another big what if. What if the Fast and Furious and Ride-Along want to get involved in this crossover? Not for the first few chapters of the Infinity Saga, but the next few chapters. Like, what if they wanted to make their debuts during the Age of Ultron era, or heck, Civil War? But also, what if the Fast and Furious, because they're gonna want to do their own movies, but maybe in an end credit, or it could be during a movie. What if they would have met up with director Nick Fury, or if not with director Nick Fury? What if they would have Shield agents. Chances are it's going to be more likely Director Fury. Director Fury, yup, yup, yup. Going to be more likely Director Fury. Let's fast forward to 2015. Alrighty. Alrighty, so. Because this is the Ultron age now before we get to Thanos. We're going to get to that Star Wars crossover in a minute. Alrighty, so this is Age of Ultron we're talking about. I definitely feel like I'm debating about would this crossover work. Would the Bad Boys would have helped the Avengers in the Age of Ultron? I definitely felt some Bad Boy vibes. Alrighty, Fast and Furious. Alrighty. What if the Bad Boys would have helped out in Age of Ultron? Especially the opening scene. I feel like they would probably use the Bad Boys for the opening scene. They might drive a car, but here's another big what if. Instead of using the Bad Boys, what if they would have used the Fast and Furious crew as a surprise? Have them help out with that battle, and have the Bad Boys do the rest, since the Bad Boys made their debuts first. Also, could there be a possibility of Ride Along wanting to make a movie return before they make their debuts? Because I'm debating about whether they should make their debuts in Age of Ultron or Civil War. All right, let me leave that alone. I have a feeling it might be during Civil War, but they could use them with Agent Ultra. But the problem is Marvel will probably have to make more movies because what if they don't make the debuts in the actual Avengers movie? What if they would have made? What if they would have made their debuts in where it be the Captain America movie, or maybe another Iron Man movie, probably. Whatever the case may be, but I'm gonna leave it alone. Alrighty. Or actually, what if they would have used Fast and Furious for not in the way you think? What if they would have used the Fast and Furious? Alrighty. Here's a big what if. What if the Fast and Furious and Law actually would have made their debuts not in any of the Avengers movies and not with Iron Man, Captain America? There are other MCU universes out there. What if they would have made their debut? Excuse me. In Agents of either the Agents of Shield series, or what if they would have made their debuts in? Wait for it. The Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I feel like they might make their debuts there. I have a feeling it might be Guardians of the Galaxies instead of Kevin America. Yeah, I feel like yeah, especially because Paramount Plus owns the rights to Bad Boys, and they were owning the rights to Iron Man too. Alrighty, now that that's taken care of, we'll get to the MCU and Star Wars crossover. So it's been announced that the MCU and Star Wars will do a crossover. Here's another big what if. Since we're talking about the Infinity Wars and the Clone Wars, could there be a possibility of the Clone Wars not just being an animated series? Could there be a possibility of the Clone Wars being a real life series? But the reality was it was animated. But could they? But would Hayden Christensen, Ian McGregor, Samuel Jackson, because he's portrayed a role as Nick Fury, but could there be a possibility of him coming back to be as Mace Windu? Because what would this mean for the Clone Wars? And also, here's another big one: if you see my logo for that live video, what if it would have instead of a Clone Wars series? What if it would have been an anime series about the Infinity Wars? So missing both Clone Wars and the MCU, and maybe the Fast and Furious is right along, but the reality is Hayden Christian didn't do too well going back to the earlier years of Hollywood. So I really don't necessarily blame him for not coming back to want to portray the role as Anakin Skywalker. Because this is where Matt Lanter came in, because he was the voice actor. Ian McGregor, on the other hand, he's doing The Island and lots of other UK movies. So there's no telling whether they would want to come back. Because unless you can negotiate the proper contract. Unless you could talk about negotiating the proper contract. We'll see. Alrighty, so I have a feeling for the sake of Agent Ultron, they'll use the bad. They'll probably use the bad boys to say the fact, they got to it first. That's the first deal that was made. Alrighty, so it's been announced that there's gonna be more seasons of the Clone Wars, but there's also gonna be the Infinity Wars. Now, not only how does this affect not only the actors, but how does this affect the voice actors too? So, anywho, here's a big what if. Since we're getting to the MCU and Star Wars crossover, once Age of Ultron is over, because could there be a possibility, so for this Marvel and Star Wars crossover, could there be a possibility of Ultra they're doing more episodes with Ultron and the Infinity Wars, but also the Clone Wars series about doing business with General Grievous. Also, could there be a possibility of him doing business with oh my god, yeah, General Grievous, not only with General Grievous, but also with Count Dooku and Palpatine. And also maybe Thanos, but the reality is, you've seen what if Ultron and Thanos do not like each other. So there's no way that's gonna happen. Anyway, let me keep. All right, because alrighty. So what if? Oh man, I gotta keep my focus because this is late at night. I'm almost ready to go to bed. So here's another big what if. If these crossovers were to happen, what is after the Age of Ultron? Alright, after Age of Ultron makes its debut, it was said that the Bad Boys is going to do another movie. It probably would have happened. But also, the Fast and Furious is going to make its return. And hold on a second. bro. I agree. Alrighty. Alright, here we go. So if you take a look, Fast and Furious has a long list. So the first Fast and Furious movie came out the year of the 9/11 terrorist attack, 2001. The second Fast and Furious came out in 2003. And then they did the Turbocharge. The fourth Fast and Furious came out in 2006. The fifth one came out in 2009. Then they did Lost Burgers. And they eventually did Fast Five, which came out in 2011. And then they did the Fast and Furious 6, which came out in 2013. And then the Furious 7 come out in 2017. So, you know, they technically, yeah, they made more movie debuts. I agree with you. Everything can't be about the MCU. So, yeah, what if they also go back to being their own universes? Because they got to be their own universes. But then they're going to eventually cross over back. Then fast forward to 2017, they did the Fate of the Furious instead of Fast and Furious. And at 21, they did 8 F9. And then at 23, they did Fast X. There's another Fast and Furious movie that's expected to come out in 2026. So I'm gonna leave that alone. Sorry guys, it's late. I meant to but I think chances are for this crossover for Fast and Furious and also Ride Along, I have a feel it probably would have had to been Guardians of the Galaxy for these crossovers, but could there be a possibility of Ride Along actually doing a crossover with the Avengers also? Alrighty. Yeah, this is tough to do, guys, because there's a lot of business that goes into all this. Lord knows what would happen if these crossovers would have happened. Alrighty. So, what if and plus also could there be a possibility since we're talking about ride along instead of them being used for the Guardians of the Galaxy or the main MCU with the Avengers, what if Ride Along would have been used? Wait for it. Not for Doctor Strange. What if they would have been used for the Thor movies? What if they would have been used for the Thor movies? So I feel like Thor could use some help, but the problem is, yeah, you win. They're not going. Asgard doesn't just want anybody up there. So technically speaking, this is where the Marvel and the Star Wars crossover would come in. Would the Asgardians allow Jedi Knights to come in? Or would the Asgardians allow the Gungans to come in? Because, you know, the Gungan city is pretty much a representation of Asgard. But we're doing the Clone Wars. My understanding the city exists, but, you know, they've come out of hiding. Because they don't have to worry about that no more. Because the Trade Federation for Viceroy Gunray failed. Yeah. Yeah, they don't just want anybody in there. But also, would the Jedi Council be allowed to travel to Asgard too? Because they may not want the war there. And also, if any of these crossovers would have happened, but let's stick with the MCU and Star Wars, because we're gonna get to Revenge of the Sith, but we're also sticking to the Clone Wars too. Because also, how would these crossovers affect Kamino? Also, what if the Avengers would have wanted to check out how the clone for the Jedi Knights? If the Jedi Knights cannot come to Kamino, what if they would have sent the Avengers to negotiate more clone contracts or something? And also, we're gonna get to Black Panther too. And I feel like what at Black Panther, because he made his debut in other animated series, but the main one was the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Hero. My understanding, Avengers Assemble also Lego. But he's going to make his debut in movie 2. What if they would have did episodes about him before he makes his movie debut? Alright. Yup, they would do it. So, anywho, let me get back to these crossovers. Now, how would this affect the Jedi Council as a whole? But how would this also affect the Ian McGregor and Hayden Christensen, or should I say Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker? But also James Arnold Taylor and Anakin Skywalker, because they're doing a crossover with Clone Wars. Now, the first few seasons of the Clone Wars, as most of you know, were on Cartoon Network. But seasons, I think it was seasons 4, 5, and 6, or 5 and 6, those were Netflix series. And fast forward to pandemic year, season 7 will make its debut. We all get to this crossover. Because now, how does this affect Thanos? But here's another big what if. Since we're getting in front of the Infinity War, chances are they probably would have killed Ultron in the movie. I don't think it's really worth it to bring Ultron back to do business with General Grievous. Let General Grievous do his job. Ultron. General Grievous probably would have taken Ultron out in a heartbeat. But what if they would have made these animated series? What if they would have made an animated series where the MCU villains would fight the Star Wars villains? I don't think it's going to be a jumpy joyride. There has to be a story. But also, what if some of the MCU villains were to do business contracts, especially specifically the Hutts? What if they would do business not only with the Hutt families, also what if they would have did business with bounty hunters? What if they would have hired bounty hunters to kill the Avengers or to kill Tony Stark? Whether it be Jango Fett, but Jango Fett is dead. He died in episode 2. So let's do boom boom. Let's do where it be bounty hunter Cad Bane. Or heck, even more bounty hunters. But also, what would this mean for the pirates too, in the Clone Wars season? Also, what if they would have made an episode where General Grievous fights Ultron? But the problem is Ultron a match for General Grievous, or is General Grievous a match for Ultron? Because the problem is Grievous uses lightsabers. Ultron, he's more machine. He can do combat, can shoot weapons. But could there be a possibility of him, wait for it, learning the ways of the Mandalorian, or actually forget about the ways of the Mandalorian. Could there be a possibility of him becoming a force wheeler with lightsabers? The problem is the Star Wars villains, the MCU villains are fighting each other. They're going at it. All right. So anywho, how would this affect the Clone Troopers too? Because they're gonna have to execute Order 66. But what if the Jedi Knights, what if the Avengers would have invited Clone Troopers to help outfight certain villains that they're trying to get? Especially because for the sake of this Marvel Star Wars crossover, once it's time for Order 66 to happen, also the Thanos snap too, they're gonna have to. Chances are for this order, not only the Jedi Knights, but the Avengers, also the Shield agents, they're gonna have to be executed for treason against the Republic, but also the world governments too. All right, so So once the Bad Boys movies have come out, new Fast and Furious movies, also maybe what if another ride along movie? But I have a feeling I think it's really pointless to bring Ultron back in this situation because they killed him in Age of Ultron. But also, General Grievous is pretty much Ultron. He's the only Ultron we need to rework for this scenario. Alrighty, let's fast forward to present time. Let's do around the 2016, 2017, 2018 mark. Real play that miss. Why can't you be a starman? Alrighty. What if, for the president, it has been announced what if it has been announced that X-Men, not only X-Men, Deadpool, and also the Fantastic Four, also Doctor Doom and the Silver Surfer, they are making a return. This crossover. Alrighty, so I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it alone. But yeah, what if it is announced that they are going to be officially a part of the MCU? Because this is how it's going to tie into the Infinity Wars and Clone Wars. So could there be a possibility once these crossovers have happened? Once these crossovers have happened, well, if it has been now, because Lord knows what's going on with the Clone Wars right now, because they gotta worry about their own universe. But with this MCU crossover, it's gonna be a lot more. Let me see. What if Anywho, what if? Well, for one, you got to wonder how does this affect Agents of Shield? Because Agents of Shield go on. I rarely watched Agents of Shield, and I'm probably gonna go rewatch it. But what does this mean for Samuel Jackson? But also, what does this mean for Windu as well? Because what if Mace Windu actually meets Nick Fury, whether it be via real life, so they would have to technically CGI Jackson twice, or animated series. Alrighty, let me leave it alone. Alright, so it's announced that X-Men, Deadpool, the Fantastic Four are going to make their debut. What if X-Men would have made a return in 2017? Alrighty. So the first Deadpool movie made its debut in 2016. So yeah, it makes its debut in 2016. But what if it's announced that the Fantastic Four will return in 16? They will make a movie about the Fantastic Four. And chances are the main villain be, it's probably, for Fantastic Four purposes, it has to be Doctor Doom. But what if the Silver Surfer were to make a return? Because then we're gonna get to the MCU crossover. Excuse me, Star Wars crossover. All right. So anywho, alrighty. So here's another big what if. Once these debuts happen, so yeah, X-Men is gonna make it. Deadpool, Fantastic Four are gonna make their debuts. Returns to MCU in 16. But X-Men is gonna make they can return in 17. What if it be the Victor? On second thought, that was X-Men Origins Wolverine. What if they would have hired another villain? But also, what if they would have hired maybe some of Thanos' maybe some of Thanos' apprentices or foe be the new villains for the X-Men, also for the Fantastic Four. Now, this is where things start to get jumped. Be it in 2018. What is it? What if it's being announced that not only Avengers Infinity War is coming out, but what if it's also being announced? Because we had Ant-Man and the Wasp, so that's technically his story about what he was doing during the events of Infinity War. But also, what if it would have been announced that X-Men is going to do another movie? the movie, instead of making a negotiation contract for them, not only for them but also for X-Men, Fantastic Four, Deadpool to actually be an Infinity War. Anywho, alrighty. So here's another big what if. The MCU would have, excuse me, excuse me. Here's another big what if. Excuse me. What if it is also being announced that not only will Thanos be in Infinity War, what if Thanos? What if it would have been announced that Thanos will also be in the new X-Men movie, leading up to the events of Infinity War? Hold on a second, guys. I'll be back. Alrighty. Anywho, what if? Be grateful. Alright, so here's a big what if. Because of the Infinity War, it also announced that X-Men gonna make a movie. Gonna make a movie during the Infinity Wars as well. Because it says Thanos is gonna be in it as well. But what if they also use Doctor Doom and the Silver Surfer? Okay. What if now the name as far as the name movie, what if it would have been called X-Men The Last Ride? Or what if it would have been called X-Men The End Game? Because it's technically the end game. But also we're gonna also tie in Clone Wars season 7. Alright, so anywho, what if the event excuse me. So it's being announced that Thanos is gonna be in both movies, Infinity Wars and the X-Men movie. But the problem is they're gonna have to tie it because the final battle takes place in Infinity Wars. The chances are they're probably gonna fail in the X-Men movie. So here's a big what if. What if they what if X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and Deadpool would have fought Thanos during the Infinity Wars? During the Infinity Wars movie, before the Avengers get their hands on him in Guardians of the Galaxy. Or what if they would have fought before Infinity Wars begins? So it's like a prequel. So it's pretty much like it will reach the Halo CE. Because don't get me wrong, it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good fight. Because here's a big one. What if Thanos, once it's time for the battle, what if Thanos would have fought them with his armor and also the blade? But that here's where the Star Wars crossover comes in. What if Jedi Knights were sent to help fight Thanos? We getting somewhere because chances are they're not going to be able to finish him in the X-Men movie because then people are going to have to pay for Infinity Wars. So, but I think the chances are they might do it before Infinity War starts because then now, how is Thanos going to get to Thor's ship when they leave Asgard because Asgard has been destroyed? Asgard has been destroyed. They're on the ship, but Thanos has to deal with the X-Men. Excuse me, Wolverine, not the X-Men, but yeah, Wolverine. Guys, I'm not serious no more. That's enough. What? Alrighty. So that's if it was an Avengers movie crossover, Marvel movie crossover. Now, let's do Clone Wars season 7, also the Infinity War series because we got all these different we're going wrong, especially especially getting to the new Bad Boys series crossover. What if it gets to the point where Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, with also Robert Downey Jr. if he was up for it, Chris Evans, but I know Chris Evans is younger, so he might be up for trying. What if they were up for reprising their characters for the next few seasons? Because then it's gonna have to eventually lead up to the Infinity Wars, but also it's gonna have to lead up to. I'm talking about Star Wars or the 66. So technically speaking, they'll probably have a lot of confrontations with the bounty hunters since they're bad boys. And also, could there be a possibility with this Bad Boys series, or if they do decide to come out with a Bad Boys movie before the Infinity Wars happens, could there be a possibility of Bad Boys being, since it's an MCU crossover, could there be a possibility of the MCU adding the surprise to their own to the movie? What if they would have hired? They were hired to kill another Asgardian, or what if they was hired to kill? What if they were hired to kill? What if I was hired to kill? Excuse me, not me. What if they were hired to kill some of Shield agents wanted, or just regular fugitives from their universes? Or what if it also being announced that Snake Eyes is going to make his return, but not as a good guy, as a bad guy? Because now you gotta wonder, how does this affect the Fast and Furious? Because this was a G.I. Joe universe before it became Fast and Furious. But also, what if Ride Along would have wanted to get him over the Bad Boys? Because technically speaking, they might do, because they technically were the Bad Boys before Bad Boys made their return. Or what if Ride Along would have wanted to do a crossover with the Bad Boys instead? Also the Fast and Furious to help fight Snake Eyes. But the reality is, for this crossover, for this MCU crossover, they're gonna have to. There's gonna probably have to be Guardians of the Galaxy. But they can always go to Asgard, but I don't think Asgard wants just anybody there. Or could there be a possibility of them could there be a possibility? I lost my train of thought. I'm gonna leave that alone. I lost my train of thought. Anywho, let's get back to the Avengers and Star Wars crossover. So let's you will go season 7. So for Clone Wars season 7, for the first few episodes until we get to Ahsoka Tano, what if they would have used James Arnold Taylor, Ian McGregor, the whole Clone Wars cast as the voice, including Terrence Carson, the voice act the characters for the episodes? No MCU crossover yet. But could there be a possibility, if there's one crossover that could happen? Now, may I remind you, these are not Disney owned though, so they would have to negotiate a lot of contracts. Because we're talked about the first few episodes of Clone Force 99, aka the Bad Batch, making their debuts. What if they would have used the Fast and Furious to help out with Clone Force 99 instead of the Bad Boys? Or they could always do that Bad Boys crossover I talked about. Except the problem is the guns they're gonna have to use. They're gonna have to use clone trooper guns, but also maybe battle droid guns too. Alrighty. So let's do Clone Wars seasons. Now that that's over, what if the old friends not forgotten? What if for these episodes it is announced that they're gonna keep the voice actress for Ahsoka? But what if they're what if the actual actors, especially for this crossover, what if the actual actors are voice act their characters, will also do the stunts and stuff? So Ian McGregor for this crossover, Ian McGregor, Hayden Christensen, and all of them, Samuel Jackson. I'm sorry, Terrence Crossover, but Samuel Jackson, he's taking his character back. Yeah, great. Yeah. What if they would have told to voice act their characters, especially for MCU purpose, for this crossover? You know, possibility. Could there be a possibility of Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and all the MCU voice act their characters? Or could there be a possibility of rejections? Especially like for What If, because Robert Downey Jr. does not voice act Iron Man. Could there be a possibility of hiring one voice actor for him? But also James Arnold Taylor voice actor Obi-Wan if Ian McGregor doesn't want to come back. But I feel like for this crossover they might all come. Alright, so the bridge scene. Obi-Wan saves Cody Rhodes from being destroyed. A gift from his father. Cody Rhodes? Alright, you wouldn't just call it Commander Cody. Next thing you know, alright, so we say Brooke. Hey Brooke, thanks for joining me. You really might want to go back all the way to the beginning, but thanks, you're in for a treat. We're talking about this crossover. Anywho, but thanks for the like. So anywho, what was I saying? Alright, so let's do the bridge. So yeah, Obi-Wan saved Cody, and he wanted Anakin, where are you? Then I'm right here. Then he gets to strategizing. Obi-Wan's especially important, stop blowing the cover and stuff like that. But he has a plan. And so next thing you know, what if he gets the droid out? Wait for it. And the droid says it's a trap fool because he knows he's trying to get him out. And then what if the clone troopers not only would stop the droids and also he destroys the droid? Well, also here's a big what if. What if the Avengers would have wanted to help out? Sorry, guys. Thanks, Brooke. Alright, so yeah. What if the Avengers would have helped out with the bridge scene? Next thing you know, once that has been done, you're sneaking out right now. Nice, man. Anyway, so what if But if a lot of battles going on, what if Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin, what if they would have gotten the transmission, but anywho, let me get on with these crossovers. Nice. Alright, let me get on with these crossovers. Alright, so, but what if the Avengers were to get another transmission about the Infinity Wars, about Thanos, but also special guests? So, what if the Avengers would have gotten teleported on the ship with gravity well? Also, what if they excuse me, guys. What if they, what if Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin would have back on the ship? Also, what would this mean for Hayden Christensen and Ian McGregor? Because here's another big what if. What if, for the sake for this Infinity War, for the Infinity Wars, or of course animated season, what if Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker actually looks like Ian McGregor and Hayden? Not cartoon versions of them, because of copyright, because of rules and likenesses. They technically are the likenesses of Hayden and Ian, but they had to make it so it wasn't obvious it was them. But the reality is, the series that's what might happen. So anywho, what if once Anakin gives his lightsabers, here's another big what if. What if it is being announced that Ahsoka is not going alone? She'll have Commander Rex, whatever squad rolls with her. But it's announced she's going to be getting some more help, and they go back to the room. The Jedi transmission, they just talked with the Avengers, but wait for it. Surprise! The Avengers are gonna not only help out, but also what if it is announced that X-Men excuse me. What if X-Men X-Men, Deadpool, and the Fantastic Four are going to help out Ahsoka Tano. So once it's time for pretty much the siege of Mandalore, because they would have they come all the way probably for this crossover fighting Silver Surfer and Doom or something. Alrighty. Sorry, guys. It's almost time to wrap up. But anywho, what if? Wait for it. What if once it's time for the siege of Mandalore, Let's do a what if series about Deadpool for this. What if Deadpool for this crossover would have learned not only the ways of the Mandalorian, what if he would have learned to be a Force user? What if he would have been given 2 dark sabers? Or what if he would have been given 2 lightsabers? Whether they both be green or red, not red, blue, purple, whatever the case may be, or just 2 dark sabers, like I said. Or it could be another saber, whatever the case may be, because they don't really have blades in the Star Wars universe. But in the MCU, they do have blades. So yeah, what does this mean for the fur? For the season Mandalorian, if this would have happened. But the problem is, once the Avengers help out Ahsoka, they're gonna have to leave. And get ready for the Infinity Wars, because Thanos would have probably had already raided the ship Thor was on. On second thought, forget about the Avengers. We're just gonna use X-Men, Deadpool. I agree with you. They gotta worry about the Infinity Wars. Excuse me. Oh yeah, once they first raid Mandalore, what if they want to get to the throne room? But wait for it. What if not only Darth Maul was there? What if the Silver Surfer was there too? But also, even going back four seasons of the Infinity Wars and Clone Wars, anyhow, before, because we got to bring it back to the Infinity Wars, or should I say Revenge of the Sith, what was season 7. What if the Mandalorians would have went to war with the Wakandans? What if Mandalore would have wanted vibranium? Well, also, what if Palpatine would have wanted to negotiate peace with the Wakandans and have them join the Republic, only to get their vibranium? But let's stick to the Mandalorian war. What if the Wakanda and the Mandalorians were to go to war over the vibranium and how powerful they are? But also, could there be a possibility of Prince T'Challa defending the throne of Wakanda more than once? Whether it be Darth Maul, or whether it be, what was that Mandalorian's name? That Maul fought for the throne? Whether it be him. Alright. Get back to the let's get back to Infinity War. What if, wait for it, what if the, this is what it be, excuse me, what if both the Silver Surfer and Darth Maul would be in a throne room? Not Doctor Doom. Could there be a possibility? Excuse me. What if the X? What if the X? What? Excuse me. What if X-Man, Fantastic Four, and Deadpool would go at it again with the Surfer? But the reality is, both the Silver Surfer and Maul have to be taken to Coruscant, or should I say, Silver Surfer has to be taken back to Earth to get arrested. Because you know it's about to be the Dark Age. About to be the Dark Age. But also, here's another big what if. What if not only Ahsoka Tano, if Deadpool does wear the dark sabers or those lightsabers I talked about, what if not only Ahsoka, but what if Deadpool also were to fight Darth Maul? But the reality is, it's probably just going to be Ahsoka. Okay, but you know, Deadpool is a force user. But we'll see. We'll see. It might happen. Could be a possibility. The reality is, Deadpool's probably going to help out X-Men in this. Alrighty. So now we know what clones have been kidnapped. Jesse, the rest of them, some were even killed because of Maul. But also, let's take it to the first battle, because I keep forgetting they were in the cave. So Darth Maul goes, I was expecting for Kenobi. What are you doing here? But what if Sir... Actually, I don't think Surfer has any big beef with Iron Man. But I'm gonna do this. And I was expecting for Iron Man. Excuse me, or should I say, Stark. What are you doing here? Alright, but I'm gonna leave that alone, cause or actually for this crossover, could there be a possibility of Natasha helping out Ahsoka too? But the reality is she's in the Infinity Wars. We'll see. But then, what does this also mean for the scene where they talk to Obi-Wan Kenobi? Well, in this case, it's Ian McGregor because he said yes for the crossover. But it could be James Earl Taylor. But the reality is it would have been Ian McGregor because he's on his way to Utapau to kill General Grievous. And also, if this crossover were to happen, then what does this also mean for the Infinity Wars in New York, for the New York City scene? Because Hulk has already just told him that Thanos is coming. He's coming. Okay, so we know it was Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Hulk. And also eventually Peter Parker to help out New York. And they were gonna go to space to head of Titan to find Thanos. But here's another big what if. While the Infinity Wars is going on, what if it is announced that the Bad Boys have released another movie? But wait for it. It's still an MCU crossover. It's still an MCU crossover. But they won't admit it until the end credit season. You'll see what I'm talking about. I think you know what I'm talking about. Anywho, alrighty, I'm gonna leave that scene alone. Right, because Order 66 can happen in a matter of moments. So, then we're talking about the throne scene with Ahsoka. So, now here's a possible one. For Clone Wars Season 7, there was a Revenge of the Sith scene, because they've already captured Maul, they've already captured Silver Surfer. They've already captured Silver Surfer, and they're going to take him to Coruscant. Alright. So, what if Alrighty. So what if they captured Maul and they captured Silver Surfer. Order 66 is gonna be any time. So, but also, what if it's also been announced that if they were up for it, Fast and Furious was all going to release another movie. Let's do possibly whether it be January or February, or maybe in 2017 too, but let's do January and February. Or they could also do the month of April too. But it is also not announced that it's going to be an MCU crossover because they don't want it to be a spoiler that we talked about for the Bad Boys movie. You'll see what I'm talking about. Alright, so let's get to the Infinity Wars. Alrighty, so Order 66 is gonna happen in man moments. Obi-Wan, he probably kills General Grievous, Battle of Utapau, and Obi-Wan Yeah, and Anakin, he's about to become Darth Vader soon. He's already met with the Chancellor and stuff like that. Now, we talked about Clone Wars Season 7 and also Revenge of the Sith. Because in Clone Wars Season 7, there was a Revenge of the Sith scene. Now, could there be a possibility of us seeing movie scenes in the Infinity Wars animated series? Maybe some deleted scenes too. Amen. Could could there be a chance of the Infinity Wars? Excuse me, I'm sorry. Yeah, a scene from whether it be a scene from the Infinity Wars movie, or if Order 66 doesn't happen during the Infinity Wars, but technically speaking, it will happen during the Infinity Wars. Could there be a possibility of it happening during Avengers Endgame? We're gonna get to that, and I really want to hurry this up. What time is it? It's 1:20. Jeez. Alright, so let's get to the Battle of Infinity War. Battle of Infinity War, they're getting ready to go toe to toe with Thanos' creatures, and also to make his kids too. His main family, you know the drill. Because Thanos, he's about to fight Iron Man and them. So, alrighty, so alright. Alright, here we go. What if what does this mean for the Wakanda scene with Chadwick Boseman? We already know the dialogue. Thanos will have that stone. That's not gonna happen. Wait for it. You are in Wakanda now. Thanos will have nothing but dust and blood. Well, for this MCU and Star Wars crossover, could this be the possibility? You are in Wakanda now. The Sith will have nothing but dust and blood. Or you are in Wakanda now. Palpatine will have nothing but dust and blood. Or you can always say Darth Sidious. Or you are in Wakanda now. Darth Vader will have nothing but dust and blood. Whatever the case may be. But chances are it still probably would have been Thanos. Or you are in Wakanda now. Your empire will have nothing but dust and blood. Or something. Because the Avengers, they might know at this point that Darth Vader, that Anakin has turned to the dark side, and he's about to be Darth Vader. Lord knows, they probably know. Some Avengers might be force sensitive, and I feel like King T'Challa is one of them. Alrighty. Now, All right. Okay, let me get my focus, guys. Alrighty. So, once the battle of the Infinity Wars is going on, once Thor has made his return to Wakanda, could there be a possibility of Order 66 happening during the battle? There are different parts of what Order 66 could have happened. Alright, anywho, the Avengers. So Obi-Wan Kenobi has already done negotiating orders with Commander Cody. He's like, yes, sir. Then the release transmission comes in, and Palpatine is like, Commander Cody, the time has come. Execute Order 66. Yes, my lord. And then Obi-Wan gets blasted, and then more Order 66, hey, Shakira, Master Mooney. The list goes on and on. But what if Order 66 would have happened during the battle? So the clone troopers, they're in the middle of fighting Thanos' creatures or whatever that was set for the battle. They get the latest transmission. Execute Order 66. Either it will be done, my lord. Yes, my lord. Or yes, Lord Sidious. Dean Baker, by the way. And then they killed the Jedi Knights, but you know they're gonna be worried about Thanos' creature, including Prince T'Challa. But I'm gonna get to some more. It's because that technically means not only the Jedi Knights for this crossover, but the Avengers, the Shield agents, maybe the Bad Boys, but also maybe the Fast and Furious. But I doubt that's gonna happen. And also, this also means Deadpool 2, Fantastic Four, and Wolverine. All right. So anywho, let's take it to the battle because we all seen Infinity War. We already know. Also, could there be a possibility? Because they're on Titan fighting Thanos. What Order 66 happened? Alrighty, so anywho, they're fighting Thanos, they're in the middle of fighting Thanos. We'll just say they brought some clone troopers for help. Now, if Thanos would have had armor and a blade, then you could possibly talk about sending some Jedi Knights. Maybe some good Mandalorian, but the problem is Queen is pretty much the Mandalorian, but the problem is there is no other dark sabers. Not yet. Alright, so anywho. In peas and peas and peas. In peas and peas and peas. Alrighty, but while this battle's going on, while they're fighting Thanos, what if the latest transmission would have came into the clone troopers? Because they might not intervene because the Avengers got this. Only when they have to. Any beams. Because could there be a possibility of battle droids coming to help Thanos? Or maybe those specialized bodyguard droids. Not Grievous's bodyguards, but those specialized ones. Of them possibly helping Thanos out. Because they're the clone troopers definitely have to get involved. We'll wait for it. They get the latest transmission and wait for it. Execute Order 66. They either reply, "It will be done, my lord," just to keep it short. Or they just execute the order. I mean, chances are they're going to kill whatever Jedi would have came with them, and Thanos would have had the armor and the blade. The reality is he just had the Infinity Gauntlet, he didn't have no help. So chances are, could there be a possibility of happening during this moment while they're fighting Thanos? Because now the clone troopers want to get involved. And what if Thanos uses that as an escape route to go to Wakanda and deal with the rest of them? And the reality is, in the Infinity Wars, they failed. Well, also, now getting to the Bad Boys Fast and Furious crossover, if they don't do their own movies, could there be a possibility of the Fast and Furious There be a possibility of the Fast and Furious ain't out in Wakanda? Because I feel like that's what might happen. Could there be a possibility of the Bad Boys wanting to help Iron Man out, which might be a possibility, but could there be a possibility of Iron Man saying, "No, you boys are going to help out either in Wakanda or help out at S.H.I.E.L.D.? Whatever's going on with S.H.I.E.L.D., because we've seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. All right, but I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that alone. All right. Once Thanos gets to Wakanda, we recognize the scene. Could there be a possibility of Order 66 happening then? Because he would have just took the throne and beat Vision. There's a big possibility. What if it would have happened after the "I told you you'd die for that" with the scene with Thor? Wait for it. You should have gone for the head. The Thor's like, "No!" Then snap. Now we definitely got a problem. Because now we got to get to Clone Wars Season 7 at the scene. Because then we're going to get into another series, The Bad Batch. So could there be a possibility? They tell Rex about the latest briefing But then Ahsoka tells him to go, you know, because she's just focusing on getting the job done. Also, so is X-Men, Deadpool, and Fantastic Four. But Deadpool, you know, he might be force sensitive. If he knows something bad, he might have the same vision as Ahsoka. They played the movie audio too. But here's another big what if. Could they possibly play not just the Revenge of the Sith audio? Could there be a possibility of what if they would have also played the Infinity War audio too? Or maybe Avengers Endgame. Alrighty. What if? Here's another big what if. Hold on. Let me get. Alrighty, here's a big what if. Alrighty. Here's a big what if. What if it would have happened after that? Clone Troopers would have came. And they would have just executed it. Because Palpatine would have probably either given or before his time, or what if the latest briefing would have came in, just like in Bad Batch? Execute Order 66. And then they just hang it up and then they just execute the order like in the Bad Batch. Because they got enough to deal with. Or could it happen, if not during the Infinity Wars, could it happen during Endgame? Alrighty. Alrighty. Could there be a possibility? You won't stay. Snaps. Excuse me. Because we gotta go back to Clone Wars Season 7. Order 66 is going on, so the Clone Troopers are probably coming after Ahsoka. Could there be a possibility, once Order 66 go into play, because they're already attacking Ahsoka, what if Deadpool, X-Men, Fantastic Four, what if they would have tried to help Ahsoka? But they got their own issues, though, because they probably would have been in another room or something. and then the clone troopers try to attack them because now we got a big problem. They're in for a big fight, and also could they survive? But also once Thanos does a snap, we already got a bad enough situation. Order 66 going on, and then Thanos their version of Order 66 is pretty much going on. Half of the Avengers are gone. So is half of the universe. And Nick Fury's going to be one of them. Alright, anywho. Could there be a possibility Alright, guys, so anywho, yeah, because chances are they would have been executed for treatment, but would they survive or would they have found a hiding spot? But also, here's a big what if. If Ahsoka succeeds to take Rex to the medical bay, could there be a possibility once Rex pulls the trigger as if he's okay, and then Rex goes, Ahsoka, there was no other way. Just like Strange did in Infinity Wars, Tony, there was no other way. And then all the dust going on while Order 66 going on. Then if this would have happened, what if happened? The clones would have went missing too during the snap. And also they stopped firing. And also, what would this mean for Palpatine? Because he's pretty much Darth Sidious now, and Anakin's about to be Darth Vader. Especially, let's leave the raid on the Jedi Temple alone. I don't really want to see that. Yeah, it was in the book of Boba Fett too, but also. Okay, what if? Yeah, because half of the universe is gone by this point. Alrighty, so after orders. Now here's a big what if. Thanos has already did his stat. The chances are Captain Rex is going. Because now what does this mean for Ahsoka's escape? Because now could there be a possibility with this crossover? Could there be a possibility of Maul actually disappearing too? But also could there be a possibility of Surfer disappearing too? Alrighty. Alrighty. What if? Here's another big what if. Since we're talking about Avengers Endgame, because then it might be likely to be done versus an Avengers Endgame. Alrighty. What if now that the Thanos snap has happened, this is what it means for Infinity Wars. What if it is decided that Infinity Wars is going to renew for another season? See, whether it be the year after Avengers Endgame come out, or let's say 2040 for somebody's sophomore year. Alrighty, so Order 66. Alright. Here's a big one. Here's a big what if. What if they would have made more episodes during the events after the Thanos snap? What if they would have showed Thanos in Wakanda, but also what if they would have showed Shield, and also what they're doing? Because could there be a possibility of waiting until Avengers Endgame to do Order 66 instead of Infinity Wars? But the reality is, you said we want to see it's going to be done during. They probably would have been done during the Infinity Wars, but let me see Endgame. Next thing you know, whatever execute. This will be. Alrighty, what if execute? Excuse me. Not only that, could there be a possibility for this series, just like in Clone Wars Season 7, so shall probably be in Infinity Wars? Could there be a possibility of us seeing the, the movie scenes in Avengers Endgame? Let's use. Actually, before we go there, let's get back to the Bad Boys and the Fast and Furious crossover. Chances are it might happen during the end credits. Once Thanos does the snap, could there be a possibility it's done via party or them having some family time? So for Bad Boys purposes, what if it was Marcus? Or could there be a possibility of it being Mike getting snapped? But also lots of others. Also, Fast and Furious might be done during family time. So could there be a possibility of Tyrese Gibson or The Rock or whoever getting snapped? Once Thanos gets snapped. Or for the Star Wars cross, but could there be a possibility of them happening to possibly kill Jedi Knights, or maybe kill the Avengers? But I don't know. Anywho, I'm gonna leave that alone. Yeah, but let's get back to it. Yeah, to make episodes leading up to the events of Avengers Endgame. But what if they would have episodes during Avengers Endgame? So we're gonna see the movie. See, let's use the Shield scene. Yeah, as Shield. So for the scene, what if they would have shown the Wakanda instead of showing Shield like they did in Avengers Endgame? What if we would have saw the Wakandan's point of view, or what if we would have saw Guardians of the Galaxy point of view, or what if we would have saw Captain Marvel's point of view, which I feel like they might show Captain Marvel's point of view on what she was doing to prepare for Endgame. Or with the MCU crossover, could there be a possibility we would see somebody from Bad Boys in the movie, but also somebody from the Fast and Furious? Mm-hmm. But also, let's do a Star Wars crossover because now this changed the whole fate of Revenge of the Sith. Who see somebody? Let's use Senator Organa. Could there be a possibility, of seeing Senator Organa? Because now this takes Revenge of the Sith to a whole nother level because the snap has happened, and now everybody's wondering what the heck is going on, where all the Jedi Knights clothes, whatever. So we combine both Order 66s in one. Could we see something else from another planet or something? Alrighty, but could there be a possibility of seeing Ant-Man, what he was doing in the quantum realm when Thanos snap was going on, but also when Order 66 was coming into play? But let's stick to the Thanos snap though. Lord knows what would happen when 66 was going on. I feel like Ant-Man would have probably been on the list too. Anywho, here's another big what if. What if they also would have used the time travel sheet I showed when they think about strategizing the play to get all the stones back and put all the events in order? Anywho, what if I hate the Avengers? Just kidding. Avengers Endgame. Just kidding. Yeah. What if we also saw the Chris Evans speech? So say the Captain America speech. They're about to get ready to time travel. Also, what if we could have saw more Avengers Endgame scenes, the deleted scenes extended? Anywho, but once they time travel, what if we would have saw more time travel with the events of Endgame? But also, once Hulk snapped everybody back and we're back on Earth in the current time period, what if is another big what if? What if once the snap happens, what if we would have saw the points of using the portal scenes, what they were doing to prepare for the final battle? Once we see those point of views, what if we would have saw portal scenes just like we did in Avengers Endgame animated, but also with you know, but also for the Avengers Assemble scene. What if they would have added the movie soundtrack in, but also what if they would have added the movie audio in? Because for this, they gotta add the movie audio in. But also here's another one. Since we're talking about that, could there be a possibility for certain scenes? Could there be a certain scenes they'll use the movie scenes? They'll use the movie audio, but for certain characters they might change voice actors or voice actresses. But for this, yeah, use the movie. Use Chris Evans, please. Use him the way it was in the movie. Cause I don't want another voice actor trying to reenact that scene. Right. Once they take Thanos out of the equation, here's another big what if. What if they would have added the Tony Stark funeral scene in? Not when they get to the funeral. All right. So here's another big what if. What if once that scene is done, let's get back to the Marvel Star Wars crossover. What if Order 66 would have been executed then, once they get done with that battle? Wait for it, they get a transmission, execute Order 66. Because everything's back to normal now. But also, that would have happened once everything gets back to order. What would that mean for Ahsoka Tano Deadpool? It's been Fantastic Four. Is it going to be in for a bumpy ride? Right, to get off the ship. Because now the Avengers, they just got done getting rid of Thanos. Now they got to get rid of these clone troopers and find an escape route, get a ship. And now with Thanos out of the equation, it's just Palpatine and his Darth Vader, probably Doctor Doom. Anywho, anywho, let's talk about the Clone Wars season 7 episode because I really want to hurry up and wrap this up. I'm almost done, y'all, because it's almost 2 a.m. in the morning. What if Lord knows whether Deadpool, Wolverine, or the Fantastic Four would have survived? You know, because Rex and Ahsoka are escaping. But the good news is they brought more help, so it might make things more easier. But the problem is, my understanding, Ahsoka probably released Maul, but she also released the Silver Surfer. So now we got another problem. What if once they escape, well, they set the blasters to stun. We already know Jesse's gonna kill. He's gonna get set to execute. He's gonna be set to execution. And also, what if it gets to the point where Maul and Surfer do escape? And then Maul be like, "You wanted this chaos." But also, Surfer also escapes with Maul, and then they escape the ship together. And now he's just busy fighting clones, but then he has to help Ahsoka. Ahsoka has to help Rex, but also, the Fantastic Four, they're doing all they can. Next thing you know, they all find a shuttle to escape while the ship crashes down. Anywho, I'm gonna leave that alone. So once any of these have happened, so let's say certain Avengers have survived, just as Obi-Wan and Anakin. Just as Obi-Wan and Anakin have died. Excuse me, no, excuse me. Because Anakin just raided the temple. He about to head somewhere to see Padme and do whatever. They're on their way to the Jedi Temple. How does this affect the scene when they get to the Jedi Temple fighting the clone troopers? You get enough Anakin and Yoda, fight the clones. But here's another big one. What if certain Avengers survive? Because then, what if they because Tony Stark is dead at this point. So, when I say Tony, he didn't die because of Order 66. Well, he might have died because of Order 66. Because what if they would have gone with Infinity War? Or they could have gone with He died fighting Thanos in the snap. Yeah, chances are they could. But because of this, Captain America did not find a way to get home. We're gonna get to that in a moment. So they go to Jedi Temple, they see a security hologram, and they find out that it was Anakin Skywalker that killed a lot of the young ones along with the clones, but also he's Darth Vader now. He is Darth Vader. And next thing you know, Master Yoda goes after Palpatine. But could there be a possibility of going after Doctor Doom? Let's send Deadpool to confront Doctor Doom. Also to help Yoda because he has double lightsabers. Because what if Palpatine would have given Doctor Doom for this Star Wars crossover? What if Palpatine would have given Doctor Doom? What did I say? All right. So Yoda is taking care of Palpatine, but Deadpool is taking care of Doctor Doom. Would Palpatine and Doctor Doom get along? Because what if it gets to the point where Palpatine may not want Doctor Doom to rule with him in the Empire, and shoot lightning at him or something? But they're villains, so they'll work it out. He's preparing for Darth Vader. And could there be a possibility, especially with Thanos out of the picture, there'd be a possibility that Doctor Doom also training Anakin, and him getting stronger. No. Anywho, what if this is how they made their ways back to the ship? But we're talking about the Jet Temple raid. Could there have been possibly a raid happening at Shield? But also Avengers Tower. But I'm gonna leave those raids alone. Anyways, because then Obi-Wan is about to get ready to fight Anakin. But now, what does this mean for the Bad Batch? Because what did the Bad Batch when they did a crossover with Clone Force 99? Excuse me. Excuse me. Not Bad Boys. But the Bad Batch when they did a crossover with S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. But also, could there be a possibility of the Fast and Furious helping out Clone Force 99? with Kanan. If there's one person that comes in Fast and Furious, if they were to execute Order 66, kill the Eater, Revenge of the Giant Knights, there'd be a possibility would Kanan have survived that day. Because would The Rock have pulled the trigger, become Crosshair, good soldiers follow orders. All right, here's another big what if. Here's another big what if. What if here's another big what if. Yes, no. Okay, here's another big what if. What if what does this mean for the Palpatine speech if any of that would have happened? Because yeah, they already would have executed Order 66 and Kanan's master been killed. You know, they can't even make the jump if the Fast and Furious would have executed the order or something. But also, what would this mean for the Bad Boys too? Because now we're under the Empire now. We're under the Empire reign. Yeah, they helped out the Avengers. They did whatever with Iron Man, but yeah, especially for the Star Wars, we're under the Empire reign. So what if they might want to join the Empire, or what if they join the Rebels, or they just go about their separate ways because they might want to go into hiding because of this. Same with the Avengers. Next thing you know, ba-bam. What does this mean for Palpatine's speech? If this were to happen. Because we know the real speech was, and the Jedi Rebellion has been soiled. The remaining Jedi will be hunted down and defeated. But, could there be a possibility of this? And the Jedi, and the Hero Rebellion has been soiled. The remaining Jedi Avengers Shield agents will be hunted down and defeated. Well, we know about the First Galactic Empire. About the Republic, but could there be a possibility of the world governments will be reorganized into the First Galactic Empire? Then Echo goes Galactic Empire. And maybe some of the Fast and Furious crew, and even the Bad Boys crew, because what in the Avengers 2 with Nick Fury, because what if they actually would have watched Palpatine's speech? They might get suspicious. For a safe and secure society. All right, let me leave that alone. And, you know, because Anakin and Obi-Wan's going to eventually fight. But what does this mean in the meantime for the Avengers? But also, if X-Men, Fantastic Four, Deadpool do survive the ship, Could they go into hiding, or could they rejoin with the rest of the Avengers? Go to different planets and build more life. But Anakin and Obi-Wan, he's one. You were the chosen one. You know, Anakin's been on fire, and then they go. Then they leave. Padme gets pregnant. Take Luke and Leia home. Excuse me. To Senator Leia goes to Senator Organa. Luke goes to Tatooine. We're gonna go Owen and Aunt Beru. All right. Anywho, now that has happened, let's trace the fact that Iron Man is dead. Maybe possibly Captain America. On second thought, maybe there could be a good chance he survived. But yeah, so the Avengers, the Infinity Wars is done. The Clone Wars is over. Now it's time for a new age. The Empire and the Rebellion. And Lord knows, best of luck to the remaining Jedi that still remains, but also the bounty hunters too. And also the Avengers. And whoever would have survived the events of Infinity War and Endgame. And Thanos is dead too. Oh man. Alrighty, so what if now we'll leave the Star Wars crossover alone because chances are there could be a possibility for these end credits. What if uh uh what if now we're gonna take it back to the Bad Boys and Fast and Furious crossover? What if once the funeral has been done for Tony Stark, what if they would have gathered to wish Captain America good luck, or going back to his time period, Return of the Stones, and then going back to be with his wife? They say good, and they all say goodbye to Kevin. They all help out. Also, we see that Captain America, he's older now. He's old. Yeah, he went back to his time period, and but this is another big one. If this crossover would have happened, who would he give his shield to? Because we know in real life he gave the shield to Sam. But could there be a possibility of him giving his shield could there be a possibility of him giving his shield to Mike, probably? Maybe he becomes the new Captain America. The reality is, I have a feeling it probably would have been Sam. Or with the Fast and Furious crossover, could there be a possibility Maybe The Rock becoming the new Captain America. Or maybe Tyrese Gibson. But the reality is he gave it to Sam. So for this verse, we'll say he gave it to Sam. Alrighty. I'm gonna leave it alone. And then afterwards, chances are, there could be a good chance everybody goes home, go back to their own universes until we meet again for the next crossover or something. Also, there could be a what if about how the end credits are gonna go. The Star Wars. Or could there be a possibility of Alrighty. That being said, yeah, that pretty much sums up the crossover. Who knows what type of egg credit we would have gotten for the Bad Batch, because it's only the first episode, but also to end the Infinity Wars, technically Clone Wars Season 7. Yeah, that concludes the series. Alrighty, guys, that being said, I hope everybody have a good evening. Please like, comment, subscribe. God bless everybody. Peace.